Hey,
Hi,
folks.
everybody.
Just wanted to let you know that I'm starting to stream here. Hopefully, things come together. It's kind of last minute. We've got Kate Vu and Chuck Russell of A Nation about to go on stage over at Quantum Miami. So, without further ado, we'll just watch and you guys feel free to text in as we go. My voice is shot, so you won't really hear me talking too much, but enjoy. And if you got any questions, definitely hit me up, okay? All right.
Here. Um, and most of my talks have always been about how to, get good yield, trading strategies,
So yeah, you're
whatnot.
just gonna watch.
First
Was
thing to
it
look at is
Harry
like,
A? Just for a little while, and just wanted to get it up. We'll just hang out here, get the chat going.
as most of you know, I'm
You know,
an early
make sure
investor
you message all
myself.
your friends and whatnot. Bring them all in here,
Options,
and we'll watch together. We'll have a good
and
time. Madman
I'll
Crypto, we're
start.
representing the A
The
Nation,
topic
A Nation
today, I really, really
Films,
wanted to
A Nation
focus and
Media.
lift the
It's
covers
the
off
shit, right?
of
All
what
right,
Life
so
actually is.
enjoy.
It's a project really, really dear to my heart. It's the first time in all of crypto's history for me where I've literally designed and built the protocol from the ground up. So my background is actually software engineering, but I've had the fortunate opportunity to become a hedge fund manager. So I've seen what it's like to be on the investment side. I've also really kind of seen what it's like to be on the engineering side. So kind of really marrying the two and bringing the best of the worlds together. And that's kind of what we have is we have life. So today's topic is life explained. So what is life? Sorry, I had to do this. Like, life is tomb, and tomb is life. Before that really kind of started off as a meme because I was so tired of everybody asking me like what tomb actually was. So now I just tell people, same thing, read the docs. So it's kind of an inside joke if you understand tomb, because before tomb was actually a very, very complicated protocol. So you had to read the docs. But let's talk a little bit about the history of life and why I built it. So life was born kind of at the beginning of the bear market of June 2022 of last year for a number of reasons. Now, we had been planning this for a while. The first big reason is we all love the game of Tomb. We all love Phantom. When the Terra Luna thing happened, a month after, we had to deal with I think about a 90% drop in the market. We were like, okay, T-share emissions is also ending. So that means a lot of the yield that was happening in the cemetery was going away. So we were like, okay, how do we continue to help incentivize, but also provide a great platform for people to kind of stay? Because now, I have to give props to the Tomb community. If it wasn't for the Tomb community and the Tomb supporters, we wouldn't be here today. We would have just said like, okay, ciao, see you later. But it's really, really the Tomb community that gave me the strength, and I was like, you know what, we have to continue this journey. So how do we continue to improve on Tomb? Because Tomb is the best game, but it's the degen game. And the degen game's only really, really good in a bull market. It's not really good in a bear market. So how do we build something that is good for both bull markets, bear markets, but can survive a long time? So I really, really thought this out that, look, initially we thought, build a protocol that will last about 4 years, but the reality is I want something to last about 8 years, 2 cycles, because most mature technologies take about 5 to 7 years. Most venture capital investments have a lifespan of about 8 years. So this is why life was really, really designed not as a short-term solution, but kind of a long-term play. So the T-share emissions was ending, so we wanted to provide long-term sustainable yield farming and utility. It was an opportunity for me to launch a project maturing over an 8-year period. Opportunity to build something from scratch with a vision, with the best of everything I've seen in DeFi. So I'm marrying the best of everything that I've done in investing, trading, and building. So what is life? Well, there's many components to life, but there's really, really 3 tokens that are involved in the ecosystem. That's life, the actual utility token, L-share, which is obviously used for like the game of life in the fountain, and then L3 USD, which I'll talk a little bit about, which is a variable collateralized stable, something that we kind of created. It's not a true stable coin, but it's a stable that's designed for high yields. It's been very, very exciting. We'll talk a little bit about our cross-chain. Life has yield farming opportunities. It's got a DeFi swap. We're launching a DeFi futures platform I think, next month. It's in beta. We're launching a layer 1 permission blockchain. We'll talk a little bit more about that. The game of life, the fountain, And we have a mobile wallet because we want to ease the consumer use experience. DeFi is still very, very difficult to use. So what we wanted to do is create a great experience for people to be able to onboard into DeFi. So what is Life? The 3 tokens. I'm going to talk about the 3 tokens today. Very, very important now. Some of this information hasn't been shared publicly. The way I like to do things is we did it kind of like backwards. A lot of people raise money in ICOs, build a bunch of money, and never built anything. For us, we kind of believe, well, as an entrepreneur that's built startups and companies, you can only lose your investors' money once. So what we wanted to do was we bootstrapped this whole thing. So let's talk about Life first. What is it? It's the utility token of the Life ecosystem. It's the emission token for the fountain. We have validator rewards that are going to be used for staking, for DPoS. It's a VIP token for Felix.com, so it's very, very similar to BNB on Binance. Felix.com, if you don't know, it's a Binance cloud that we set up last year. And the utility token for LifeTrade, which is the futures platform. This has never been seen before. This is the supply. Oh, did I go backwards? Sorry, I thought that was a laser pointer. Sorry. Where's the laser pointer? Jeez. So the Life tokenomics, this is something we haven't released. And there's a very, very specific reason why, because we haven't raised a single dollar for this. We bootstrapped this ourselves, which means we wanted to bring a product out to market first and let people see what we've really, really built. So a lot of people have been like, okay, Harry, you know, why don't you release tokenomics?
Yeah, for you, wow. For those of you just tuning in, I am streaming the Quantum at Miami. A Nation is going to be presenting there shortly. We're just listening to Harry right now, as I guess they're running a little bit long, which is fine. Hey, the boys are headlining, and you know, I'm trying to get the chat up, so I may have to kill a stream and come back in order to get it up. But you know, hang tight. We got to go on. At least we're recording it, right? All right, enjoy.
To 8 years. So this is a very, very sustainable yield farming project. So 20% is going to be for the treasury, 4% are for our partners, 13% we're looking at for investment allocation, 8% for developers, and 12% for the DAO. So tokenomics breakdown. L-share. So what is L-share? So L-share, so look, all of us love the tomb masonry, but it's very, very unsustainable for a project to print 1% of its total supply every 6 hours. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was pretty amazing when it happened, but most of us had sleepless nights, like many of them. You could actually die from making too much money. I think that's why they call it tomb, because you like stay awake for like days on end, so for the peg. So, but that's another story for later. So what I thought would be really interesting and really neat was the component and mechanism of Tomb, which everybody loves so much. When the Terra Luna thing happened, we're like, okay, you know what? It'll print again in the next bull market. But why don't we create something in Life that simulates that? So you know, you get kind of like the same little dopamine hit. You know, it's not the Tomb print, but it's very, very similar. So what happens is, you still buy L-share, and you stake it in this thing called the Fountain of Life, which is equivalent to the masonry. And when it hits a certain ratio, so for example, right now I think if 1 tomb is equal to, what is it, 2.5 tomb is equal to 1 life, if you've bought L-share and you've staked in the Fountain of Life, you know, there's an emission reward of like 300,000 life to all the participants. So it's a fun way to still get that engagement, but creating something sustainable. So this is why, you know, L-share exists. And originally the scale was, we were only going to do 4 years, but as you can see here, the first year there's only going to be 28,000 L-shares, so it's been about almost 9 months now, and we've emitted about close to, I think, 23,000, so we're on track. Second year, and we got this pretty much from similar to like a Bitcoin halving model, so we can continue to change, which is the nice thing about when we designed this, we made it so that the project is upgradable. The problem with like even Tomb before, you couldn't upgrade it. You couldn't do something. And the biggest thing is no smart contract can really determine market conditions right now. So that's still kind of where human interaction is kind of needed. So in this project, at least in the short term, you know, the team of us help manage, you know, the supply, but longer term, we're going to a DAO model, and they'll be managing this. So the year 2, 14,000, year 3, 7,000, year 4, 7,000. So it's kind of a declining logarithmic scale. So we project that the price of L share will increase because there's scarcity of supply. A T share 70,000 was printed all in 1 year, so this is why that created an actual problem. So again, 8-year plan for life. By that time, I think I'll be like almost 60, not 60, but close to it. And L3 USD. So people are like, here, why are you creating a stablecoin? I'm like, well, we're not creating a stablecoin, we're creating a stable asset. It's backed by, so the one thing that I learned from the whole Terra Luna thing was that liquidity from real stablecoins backed is the most critical thing. So as long as your stable is properly collateralized, you can actually work with it. So for us, we've just kind of seen how everybody, the beauty of the DeFi space is you can observe what other people are doing, and then you can add your own little twist to it. And what works for you, I think, is the most important. Experimentation is very, very important. So what we're doing is like relatively new. So I created this new category called variable collateralized stable, which means it can be collateralized multiple assets. For now, it's collateralized by curve pools. Down the road, it can be collateralized by Bitcoin, Ethereum, et cetera, et cetera. It's designed to be range bound between 0.95 to 105. It's designed to be a higher yielding stable, so which means anybody that's going to say, okay, you can earn 20, 30% on a stable, it's very Ponzi-ish. But if there's volatility introduced into a stable, then that's okay because there's a possibility. Volatile assets give higher returns. This is a fact, this is a reality. So sometimes the stables that you do with L3USD can get you a yield of 25 to 30%. Sometimes they'll give you 8%. This yield depends on the price of life and L share. So like I said, designed for lending and borrowing and for LPs, and it's a pure DeFi play. But down the road, as the ecosystem matures, we're hoping to be able to do offline collateralized assets and lending and borrowing. Because what we saw in this bear market is a huge downturn in liquidity. So imagine if you can have your cars, your watches, everything else collateralized. You can use L3USD and provide loan against that. So these are just some of the solutions we're actually looking at longer term. So more information on the L3USD. These slides will be available later, so if you want to take a look. Yield farming, I'll kind of touch on this a little bit. They're not as crazy as the TOOM yields, but can everybody see that? So for some of the stables, depending on the price of L share and depending on how much is staked, you can get anywhere from between 2 to 20%. Life and Phantom, this is just specific on the garden on Phantom. There's multiple gardens on different chains. So we just launched on BNB.
All right, those of you just tuning in, we are actually just watching the Quantum in Miami. The presentation for A Nation is coming up next. Henry's just finishing up here, I believe. And then we'll have our boys up there, Cade Vu and Chuck Russell. All right. So please let me know if the audio, when I'm playing, not talking right now, is good. And I will louden it if we need to. But sit back, enjoy, and share this out on social media. Get it on your Twitter, get it on your Telegram, get it on your Discord. Speaking of which, we got a little thing going on. But I'll let you know about that another time. So just keep that in the back of your mind there, okay? Yeah, I'm looking at the screen. I should be looking at you. I know. Hey, it's been a while. I'm hoarse, but I'm here. Bearman Crypto, baby. Badman Crypto. A Nation. I'll shut up now.
Play this game, which is, okay, when you earn life, there's multiple ways to earn life. You can earn it in the nursery, the Fountain of Life, the validators. You take your life, you sell some of it, you get some Phantom, 40% of it, then you create an LP, you stake it, you earn L share, you repeat. So this is kind of like the game. How do you help the protocol and how does it continue to grow? It's very, very similar to TOOM. It's called the 60/40. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the components of like the life ecosystem. The main ones. There's actually a lot more than this, but for this presentation, I just wanted to kind of highlight the important ones. So one of the biggest things that was important to me is like I love TOOM as a protocol. But to give real utility to something, for me, I thought was like an interesting experiment. So one of the things I really wanted to experiment with was optimistic rollups layer 2, but specifically on Phantom, just because nobody's actually done it before. And I love building everything on Phantom. So whenever we do something, we always try to do it on Phantom first, just because first, it's our home base. It's what we love. We always build everything on Phantom first, even this layer 2 scaling solution. And the one thing I discovered why I wanted to build a layer 2 scaling solution was There's this concept called the MEW, and like everybody knows about this, like the gas hikes increase when there's just huge amount of traffic on the network. So liquidations, all of this stuff.
Yeah, I got that maxed out right now. It's the stream.
Any network, Ethereum, Phantom, couldn't use it for days. It was just bogged down. So it was an interesting opportunity to say, okay, how do we, let's experiment with like permission chains. So what's a permission chain? A permission chain means anybody can use it, but not everybody can deploy smart contracts on it. So it was a good opportunity for me to experiment with that. We'll talk a little bit more about Tomb Chain after. There's LifeTrade, optimized DeFi applications running on cross-chain, Life Wallet, the LifeChain L1 permission, and then our future roadmap, just to talk a little bit about it. So as I've talked about with Tomb Chain, for those of you that have used it, the nice thing about Tomb Chain is that there's almost no traffic on it, and it gives utility to Tomb. So just over a period of time, the goal really is Tomb Chain's designed for one thing, just for Tomb. That's really what it was designed for. So longer term, it uses Tomb as gas. It's an optimistic rollup on Phantom. The game of Tomb, actually Life was actually born on Tomb Chain because we thought it would be a really interesting experiment just to have our own swap and everything on Tomb Chain. So the permissioned aspect was really the reason that we built Tomb Chain on top of Phantom, just so that later down the road when we're ready to do the layer 1, we have the experience required to actually roll it permissioned L1. So LifeTrade, this is actually a very popular one that people have been asking us for, and we've been working on it for a few months. It's DeFi perpetuals on Phantom. So we're very excited. I think early next month we're going to be able to demo and trade DeFi perpetuals on Phantom. It's a GMX fork. This is the first preview of what it's going to look like. A lot of degens in the crowd, so yeah. Thank you, degens. And then Life is cross-chain. Phantom's our home, Tomb Chain, but we're also going to be on BNB Chain, Polygon, LifeChain, and more to be announced. We think that being a cross-protocol is important. It helps us get our Chainlink oracles. Ultimately, it'll drive a lot more adoption. More adoption brings more people, more awareness to Phantom. And that's really like, what our goal is. Life, so look, Life.com is live on Opera. I believe the Fountain is live this week on Phantom. Yes. Alpha. Yes, Alpha, yes. This one's pretty important. So last year, I was out at a restaurant with one of my friends, and I was trying to explain to him how to buy Life, and it was a very tedious process. There's only really 2 easy ways to buy Life right now. One is on Felix, because it's a Binance Cloud product. It's relatively easy to buy. But you couldn't, only other way to do it was through MetaMask, and the experience was really bad. So what we decided was we took Alpha Wallet, but we're going to look at other wallets like, Giddy. Where's the Giddy guys? They're not here? Left. But, MPC custodial wallets, those are important for us. Self-custody wallet, you're going to be able to buy Life Phantom directly off of Ramp on your phone. So it'll be a much better experience. So again, launching on Phantom first. Imagine a mobile app that's just specifically for Phantom and other chains, but very easy to use, but focused specifically, so you don't have to use MetaMask. Buy crypto directly with your credit card. So again, just really trying to bring
for those
up
of you
the best
just
consumer
tuning in,
experience.
if I can't hear myself,
Crypto,
there we go.
making it easy for people to kind of get on.
For those of you just tuning in, we are waiting for Cade and Chuck to get on stage.
Okay, and then LifeChain.
And so if you
is
could get this out there on
for
Twitter,
me,
share it
the
out
same
with
thing
your
that we're doing
friends,
with
social
Tomb, we're
media,
doing
wherever
with
it's going,
Life.
make sure you like and subscribe. The whole 9, right? So yeah, don't mind my
LifeChain's
voice. I'm
important
not going to talk
because,
as much
the
because,
whole
well,
concept of
my voice is
L1
shite.
gives more utility to the token itself. There's 8.8 billion tokens, so again, running validator nodes, we run validator nodes for Phantom, so we know what it's like to secure the network, so we're going to look for more validators. Originally, we're just going to fork EVMOS, but similar to BNB Chain, as other software becomes available, hopefully Phantom, one day we can fork Phantom. I'm just saying, just putting it out there. We can build our permission layer 1. It's going to be public use enabled, contract deployments by authorized developers only, DPoS validator nodes. And we're really looking at building something like layer 2 as a service on top. So Ooh, that didn't turn out so well on this. That's weird. Okay, anyways, looks kind of funny on here. I don't know why it didn't turn out. But that's a graphic of all the stuff that we're actually launching. So anything that's in highlighted has been launched, but anything that's white has not been. And I don't know what that is at the bottom, so I'm going to have to find out why. T-Bone coming. So contact, look, if you want to follow me on Twitter, there it is. Official Life, Twitter, Instagram, Discord. Chantel does an awesome job managing our Instagram. Thank you, Chantel. Discord, look, we want to build the community like we did with Tomb, also on Life, so please join the Discord. And then special mentions. I think it's very, very important to mention the people that have actually made this possible. First, I'd like to thank is like Phantom. Phantom has actually provided, developer ecosystem support. They're sponsoring Quantum Miami. They continue to build the most innovative L1 blockchain. Plus, their team's just great. Simone's here. You have Michael, Dave Richardson, all of them. You have Michael Legend, yes. Andre. So just really, really having like a great home to build everything on, and knowing that you've got a great team. I mean, look, even the validator support, from Quan and everything else, of just the way they do the upgrades, and the community from Phantom has, the developer community, in my opinion, of Phantom is like the best. This is why we continue to build on Phantom. We're the huge supporters of Phantom. So thank you, Phantom. Thank you. The Life Tomb protocol team, the developers, it's a team effort. They execute the vision that we put together. Constant development improvement. Some of the guys aren't here. There's like 40 people all across the world that are working on this thing every single day, 24 hours a day. So they deserve a lot of the credit. And the Life and Tomb community. I mean, you guys are the reason we're still here. Community moderators, a lot of them here. Chinggis, where are you? There you go. There he is. Jonathan G, all these guys, Wiggs, thank you guys. Continue to build the innovative L1 blockchain, Life Tomb community. Thank you. The Felix.com market making team. Now, Felix.com is an interesting project. We originally started this really, really to kind of focus on Phantom, just because we believe most of the best projects are going to come to Phantom. So we want to have, the reality is DeFi is going to be very, very difficult to use for a while. The centralized exchange experience is still the best. So our team is still ramping up. So I want to give a special thanks to the Binance Cloud team. They've been super supportive. Market making team and the marketing team. And remember, Life's used as a utility token on Felix. It's going to be changing over from Tomb soon. So this is kind of what it looks like. So we've had a pretty good run up with Life on. Actually, yesterday, I think $500,000 in volume. So small numbers, but all big things start small. So Quantum Events team, James L. Knight Center, Hyatt Hotel, thank you. The event production team, without them, they put all of this together. Thank you. Give them a round of applause. And I want to make special mention for some of our ambassadors and our friends that are really, really kind of newer to crypto, but I mean, they understand crypto, but they've really, really jumped in with both feet with us. First, I want to obviously, so where's Barek? He's here. Where's Barek? Where's he? Hiding? Probably hiding. Okay, so anyways, Barek is, I met Barek probably about, I think 6 months ago. And music is such an important part of our lives, and I find like in crypto, my goal is always, how do you bridge crypto and mainstream, right? So music, art, sports, it's something that we all resonate with, but all of us that are into crypto, we want to see more of that. How that part intersects with our life, and I think, part of my goal is how do you bring the best people, because they become the voice for, things that we find that are important in crypto. So Barek's actually a bit of an anomaly. Like, he's a freak as a DJ. I mean, this guy's insane. You've probably heard a song, Tuesday, Forever Young, Habibi Come to Dubai. But what's crazier is he said to me, hey, Harry, I want to go to space. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, Earth's like perfectly fine. He goes, he wants to have a space concert for an hour up in a space capsule. I'm like, okay, sure. You're crazy, but most people in crypto are. So as you kind of saw, he was on earlier. He's going to spend an hour in space. You've definitely heard some of his songs. So having somebody like him, I'm very, very happy to have him as a friend, but really just kind of seeing what he's doing, that's kind of trailblazing. But you have to see him play because I DJ, but then when you watch him DJ, this guy turns off all visuals. He's a true musician. He does it all by ear, and he can play electric guitar and DJ at the same time. It's pretty crazy. And of course, one of my closest friends, Alec Monopoly. He's not here this year. He's in Dubai. Painted that awesome mural last year. If you take a look at the one on the right, you can actually see how big this is. This is actually Alec right here in the little corner. That's him. So Alec's a huge supporter of crypto as well. Loves Phantom. So again, having guys that are mainstream, really, really hot. And look, one of the amazing things about Alec is he was just a graffiti artist before. Now he's like one of the big breakout DJs. You see him everywhere, so great to have him. Oh, in case you didn't see, there's a little tomb logo and Phantom. I got him to paint this. If you go to the Dubai Mall, I got him to paint the Phantom logo and the tomb logo at the very, very end. Did you see that? So if you go to Dubai Mall, you'll actually see that. Yeah. And then, of course, Pierre Gasly doesn't need an introduction. He's been here. This is, you see the Phantom logo and the Life logo? And Pierre, you know, is very, very vested in crypto as well, so great to have him. And lastly, world champion, 2021 MotoGP world champion, Fabio Quartararo. Couldn't join us today, but you know, Fabio is also newer into crypto, so he's bringing, again, similar to Pierre, he's bringing the eyeballs for people to be a lot more aware in crypto. And then thank you all of you for coming to Quantum Miami. Hope to see you guys next year. Thank you very much.
Everybody give it up for Harry, yay!
I'm not exactly sure what happened. I was on the impression that...
We have 2 more speaking slots, and then
Oh, okay.
the finale. Please welcome CEO and co-founder of Landano.
All right, so we'll just hang out here until A Nation gets on stage. So good. I thought we missed it. I was a little, oh goodness, what did I do? Was I too late? I scrambled. I tried to make it happen. That's what we do at Madman Crypto. We try and make it happen. So we'll just hang out here, chill. We got probably about another 2 15-minute presentations. I could split and come back, but I want to hang out here, so we're not going anywhere, all right? Enjoy.
Remember when blockchain was about revolution, about decentralization, about disintermediation of power in finance, industry, governance? Can we get back to that, please? Our industry's been hijacked by greed, hyperbole, scammers. It's an unfortunate situation, but let's get back to basics. The genie's out of the bottle. There's no arguing that solving the Byzantine generals' consensus problem is a revolutionary leap in technology. I would put it on par with TCP, IP, and the internet, GSM and mobile. This technology will do the same thing. It will change the way we work, live, and play. We just got to get it right. We haven't been getting it right. That's what I'm here to talk to you about. I myself am an archivist, so I have a graduate degree in archival science. Us archivists have been around for centuries. We're the ones that make sure the historical documents are preserved, accessible. We started with clay tablets back in Mesopotamia. We moved to papyrus and paper. And of course, these days, almost all our records are in digital format. So for the past 20 years, I've developed expertise in this field. I've consulted with governments.
All right, so I just looked up the agenda, and these guys are just before Kate and Chuck will be on stage. So probably about another 10, 15 minutes, and we'll see the boys up there, all right? A Nation, share it out there, please. You know, bring it on your Twitter. You know, post a little, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it on send smoke signals for all I care. I want you to get it out there. Call your friends, say, hey, listen, check out YouTube. My boy Bear Claw is out there broadcasting for Madman Crypto, representing the A Nation. We're here for you. So I'll let you go back to the show, and we'll chime in when we can. But make sure you do hit that like button, because that's why we're doing it. We're doing it for you. And yeah, New York horse guy here.
As a researcher, as an investor, as a founder in this field for a long time now. It wasn't until I heard Andreas Antonopoulos first speak about the technology that was underneath Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency, this thing called blockchain, this revolutionary new distributed record-keeping system. So when I hear record-keeping system, of course, I'm interested, and I took notice. And so, yes, a lot of the hyperbole has been great. We got a distributed record-keeping system. Now we can put health records on the blockchain. We can put whatever on the blockchain. Well, as most of you know, layer 1 blockchains have very limited transaction space. That's not what we do. We put hashes on the blockchain instead, and those should be pointing to documents. That's one blind spot where I think we're still getting it wrong, and we need to do something better. So it's anybody can create a hash of a document and stick in a blockchain transaction. But holding and verifying that verification, that's really the most important part. Just like when you have a car rental, it's the holding and having the car that's most important. And right now, most services are screwing this up. Services that claim to be notarizing, tokenizing documents on the blockchain. They will create hashes. They will usually bundle those up into Merkle trees and more Merkle trees, and in fact, to save money on gas and transaction fees. And then that ends up on the blockchain. And it's so complex and confusing that most users now just rely on a trusted third party to tell them, oh yeah, we checked it out and did verify, and yes, this timestamp is valid. And we're back to like trusted third parties. So that's one major problem. But in large part, the industry itself, the crypto industry, is completely ignored. For the most part, the majority of the industry has ignored existing legal practices, standards, archival science best practices, and the kinds of things that I've been using to build the systems and helping organizations comply with these kinds of like requirements and standards. So one very obvious problem, blind spot, is yes, you may have a hash on inside a blockchain transaction, but that hash represents a document. It's a timestamp for a document to prove it existed at a certain point in time. Super very valuable function, but it's a very scoped function. It only does one thing. It's a glorified timestamp. When you have that hash, it needs to resolve to a document or a data set somewhere online. Hopefully the developer's still paying their S3 bills or their IPFS bills, otherwise that document disappears. We've heard lots of stories about that in the NFT space. The other issue is that if you do manage to get that document back, can you understand it? Do you understand the context of its creation and use? Is the file format still compatible with your current operating system? If this is sometime in the future, 5, 10 years from now. These are all things that we deal with in the archival world. We have archival standards. We have great technologies and tools to do that. We have metadata standards. We create archival packaging. So again, those are the types of methodologies and practices that should be implemented in these systems. But currently, most of them do not do that. The other really critical piece that's missing is that, yes, having a hash of a document on the blockchain gives you a timestamp and registration function. But that is only one way to prove authenticity in electronic record systems. The most predominant methodology that we've been using for centuries is something called the archival bond. What does that mean? When I produce a record, there should be a connection to the other document or record that preceded it in the business process and the one after it, and ideally through a classification scheme. You build a network of relationships between the documents, and you make those explicit in metadata. And that metadata should be offered to the user so that you can evaluate the document. And if anything goes weird in that entire network, it raises alarm bells. There's an anomaly, something fraudulent may be happening, there might be some kind of mismanagement. Implementing the archival bond in blockchain-based record-keeping systems is the biggest blind spot right now that I would like to address, and I have been addressing. So, sorry, I need to take a breath. I talk too fast. I have been doing R&D in this field since 2016. I identified this problem 6 years ago. I wrote papers about it. I went around the world telling people about it. I spoke at the very first Decentralized Web Summit held at the Internet Archive back in 2016. But nobody wants to do diligent engineering during a gold rush. It's not sexy. And nobody wants to listen to an archivist until it's too late, until they need one. So about a year ago, I left my services company, the one that's making those digital archive systems, and devoted myself full-time to the Web3 space. Essentially with this agenda, to say, let's improve our Web3 decentralized systems and make sure they're compliant with archival science requirements so that we don't miss this opportunity to use this revolutionary technology to improve the world around us for everybody that lives, all 7 billion people on this earth. Back. So the first thing my team and I developed is a platform called Arcly.io. We built it on the Arweave decentralized network, similar to IPFS and Filecoin. One key difference is that it offers a upfront storage endowment model. So you pay for your storage once, and then the network algorithm is designed to keep it the miners incentivized to keep that file online, 40 copies of it, with the treasury backing it up for at least 200 years, as long as we have internet, electricity, and so forth. So it does solve a key problem in the archival space, which is like financial sustainability. Who's going to keep paying the bills to keep the stuff online? So we apply archival standards, legal requirements, and we built this platform called Arclay.io and offered as a API to other Web3 projects that need to solve this problem. And we start with 2 of our own projects. So one of them is an Oracle. And so again, as an archivist, I'm fascinated by the Oracle problem. How do we take data about the real world and put it on chain so smart contracts can use it, but ensure that that data and prove that data is authentic? Because it can have very serious social economic consequences, right? So if you've got a smart contract, that's let's say a betting app. If you can put a false score in, you can get a payout. If you've got a stop loss order, or think of any other kind of DeFi instrument that's reliant on accurate price feed data, if that data is manipulated, obviously there's huge hacks, and we've seen those kinds of hacks already. The big fish in the Oracle space is Chainlink. I've got some issues with how they've done things, again, as an archivist. So I went about building an Oracle platform, starting off with like, well, what is the real world even? We can get very philosophical about it. We were going with Einstein's theory of relativity. It's a 4-dimensional grid, 3 dimensions of space, 1 of time. When something happens in that grid, it's an event, and then your Oracle reports on that. Creates a record, creates data, creates documents about it. But again, what's missing is the visibility, transparency, the archival bond, making this explicit. So OrcFacts is a Oracle solution built for the Cardano blockchain that attempts to solve this problem. It's a completely decentralized system, decentralized Oracle pools do the validation and collection. All the data can be verified with your own independent Cardano nodes. And again, the records are bundled using Arclay and put on the Arweave platform, where either you can use our own Explorer, or you don't have to. You don't have to trust us. You can use your own node to go and retrieve that data. So that's one place we're applying this philosophy. And so I hear you say, Peter, why Cardano is not a ghost chain? Is that what's going on with Cardano? Well, I wrote a blog post a couple of weeks ago, 30 reasons why you should look at Cardano and why I'm building on Cardano. So I'm not going to go through those, but Google that. It's a Medium article.
All right, for those of you just tuning in, as my mic definitely sounds like it's not loud enough, or it's just my voice just totally crap. Yeah, so if you could, make sure you like and subscribe, and definitely get this out there on Twitter, Facebook, Telegram, Discord, wherever it is you want to get it out there, and just try and represent the A Nation, because they're coming up right after this gentleman here finishes presenting. It was his name there. It's Peter Van Garden and something like that, whichever. But yeah, sorry for the voice. It is the kind of last minute. We're getting it out there. We got the A Nation repping out there, and I'll shut up now and get back to it, and you know, we'll see the boys in action in just a few minutes.
The article itself explains it more if you're interested in that. But the takeaway, it's more secure. The other reason I want to be in the Cardano space, like I said, I've been around for a while now. I've done work in the Bitcoin space, in Ethereum, Filecoin, Algorand. I've worked on a number of platforms and a number of communities, but Cardano itself is attracting not just people who believe in good sound engineering, but also people who believe that we should be using blockchain for good, to do something to really fulfill the promise that I was talking about earlier. And so a couple of months ago in Switzerland, we gathered together, organized ourselves as the Cardano RealFi. We're calling it RealFi, so projects that have real-world utility, connecting real-world assets and processes to blockchain transactions and assets and tokens, and having real-world impact. And we have a great community. I was elected the chair of this consortium, and the main reason is that because I've been involved in a Cardano-based project called Landano. And I've got 4 minutes to tell you about that now. So here we go. This project is really dear to my heart. You know, as an archivist and records manager, I've learned that one of the ways that we can have I could use my skills and knowledge to have the biggest impact in the world is dealing with land right records. Because as it turns out, over 1 billion people go to sleep every night worried that somebody might take away their land, their home, their shop, their farm the next day. Their family might have rights to land, but they don't have the documentation to prove it, because the systems are really expensive to access, they're mismanaged, they're corruptible, a number of reasons. And this is particularly true in the Global South. So this, it turns out, actually creates these cycles of poverty. I mean, let alone this psychological effect, right? The anxiety that you have. You can't plan for the future. You can't plan a business if you don't have land tenure security. But as it turns out, this is actually a fundamental piece of the puzzle in the generational poverty cycle. If you can demonstrate that you have good tenure to land, you can now leverage that for a mortgage, for a business loan, right? And this turns out, research has shown in the last 20 years over and over again, if you can start with that, you now open the door to new financial opportunities. So you not only give people security, psychological security, but you give them a leg up in the financial world. And believe me, people are very motivated and they want access to this. So what we've done is we're using the Cardano blockchain to create standards-compliant land right documents, minted cheaply and conveniently as NFTs on the Cardano blockchain. NFT is a dirty word, we usually don't use it, but I can say that in the crypto conference. NFT is obviously the right technology for this. Land is non-fungible, you can't cut and paste it. There's only one parcel of land. So NFT technology is actually very appropriate for this. We have just finished our pre-seed round. We've been doing pilot projects in Ghana and Mozambique. We've developed a software MVP, and we've been working closely with communities on the ground there to understand their needs, their land right, the gaps that they need, and obviously there's huge technology gaps as well, so trying to make sure that this technology is actually accessible to them. We're research driven, that's just the way we do business, so there's a huge amount of research being done in land administration. We bring all that in. There's lots of blockchain projects trying to do land records that have failed. We studied why they failed. And of course, we're standards compliant, and being a good Web3 project, we make sure the entire stack is fully decentralized, has self-sovereign portable data. And now I hear you say, Peter, that's all great and fine, you're gonna make land right records. No, isn't that the government's job? Like, how can you guys do that, right? Well, it turns out, and this is the finding from our pilot projects, and really interesting strategy now, is that in sub-Saharan Africa, when a lot of the countries got their independence, they developed their own constitutions, and they gave equal legal weight to the traditional leaders of that potential, in most of sub-Saharan Africa, people live, 90% live in rural villages, and in those places, it's the village chiefs and the family clan heads that basically decide how land is managed and how other things are managed in that community, and everybody respects their rule of law. But it's all verbal, it's a verbal system. So there's lots of cases where there's miscommunication, loss of memory, opportunities for fraud again. So, but these chiefs are desperate for, so again, when a chief says, yes, you get to plant corn on this plot of land for the next 2 years, that's as good as law. But that was a verbal command. What we're doing is we're formalizing that, creating proper standards-compliant NFT records that represent that, and bringing them onto our platform. We're helping communities survey their land, and we're contributing this data back to the land registry offices who are saying, thank you very much, because we don't have this cadastral data. Good job, keep it coming. So there is an interesting little niche that we filled where there's huge demand for this. And again, of course, we're going to do it the right way. So we're building a record-keeping system that implements archival bond. So we closely study business processes, we identify where records are getting created, which records come before and after, ensuring the classifications there, bringing them into a standards-compliant, legally compliant record-keeping system, and then also registering those documents as NFTs. And that means we've now been able to offer these communities a brand new way to leverage their land rights with brand new technology and leapfrogging other communities and opportunities. It's a huge global market opportunity. Okay, we're just
I'm hoping that's him with the audio in the background, because I wasn't ready for that.
There's 30,000 chiefs, 1 billion people in sub-Saharan Africa, and our platform charges a small transaction fee. That's one business model, but really after that, once we get these users on the platform, we now can offer financing from DeFi lenders. So lending in Africa is very predatory, 20–30% in some cases. We can do much better with DeFi lending, and now finally fulfill that promise of the thesis that get land tenure, get access to financial mobility. The opportunity is huge, it's global. We're starting in Africa, we're moving on. If you want to learn more, we've got a pitch deck going now, we're starting our seed round. Please do get in touch, landdano.io is the easiest way to find us, but send us an email as well if you're interested. Thanks everybody, enjoy your conference.
All right, thank you. All right, we're keeping it going.
They were
Got
trying to
two
give him the
more.
hint to get the hell off the stage because he's talking too
we're
long.
gonna
Kate
do
and
something
Chuck,
right now.
here we
Right
go.
After that, we're going to announce the winners of our pitch contest, so that's going to be super cool. Come on, bring them out for our fireside chat. Web3 enabled Hollywood, Chuck Cadet and Ryan Blowers. Come on out here.
Yeah, baby.
Hi, I'm Chuck Russell, filmmaker and co-founder of A Nation Media, and this is my partner, co-founder, action actor, and my blockchain guru, Cade Vu. How you guys doing? Okay, you may not know me, but you might know some of my films. So we have a little clip that shows you what we've been doing, what I've been doing for a couple of decades.
Please watch.
Hi, my name is Cade Vu. I'm one of the founders of A Nation.
And I'm Chuck Russell, filmmaker and co-founder. Cade and I would like to introduce you to A Nation. A Nation is an exciting new concept that combines a growing global cryptocurrency ecosystem with the world of film and television. It's an idea whose time has come. At A Nation, we are the audience, and the audience is us.
Where did Miles learn music?
A toast to the new Maui. From now on, everybody's wishes come true.
He's a stone cold killer tied to the cartels.
Word of advice, I would leave this island and not come back.
Buck has a lot of influence on this island.
Don't you ever doubt me.
You think he'll drown?
If we're lucky.
Make sure he's dead before he leaves his property.
What are you waiting for? Christmas?
We don't have a chance.
Get down!
Are you too stupid to die? You've been chasing me for 10 years.
I'm a little OCD.
Greetings, I'm Ryan Blowers, the human fortunate enough to host this fireside chat. And thank you, Chuck and Cade. It's been amazing. I've had the opportunity to interact with Chuck and Cade for probably the last 8 months, and on their mission through creating A Nation. So it's an honor to be here, and over to you guys. And I would love to know why you are creating. What's the inspiration behind A Nation?
Well, look, I've had a lot of fun, as you can see. That's just some of the work I've either produced or directed, and some that I've written. But the one constant fact about Hollywood, and I guess life itself, is change. It's always changing. We're going through a period now where studios are buying studios. I just spent a while developing a film at MGM, and just before we were about to greenlight it, Amazon consumed MGM and are now reviewing that property. So it's becoming harder and harder to do original films. You guys may have noticed, because you're getting so many sequels and so many similar films, rarely do we get to do a new star like I got to do with Jim and Cameron in The Mask. In fact, I never would be able to make The Mask today in the current studio system. The independents are getting a little choked off. They can't get into theaters. The budgets are getting smaller. What you just saw was my latest film, Paradise City, which I did as a smaller independent film. It was a huge success. I'm saying, where's the ads? What's happening? It went straight to streaming. We need something new. We need something new for new filmmakers. We need something new for filmmakers established like myself that want to be creative and use new actors. The economics of the corporate Hollywood are more and more difficult. There's more executives and bureaucracy for me to convince to use new people, which is my favorite thing. Dwayne Johnson, Scorpion King was his first leading role. And the studios were ready for that and not ready for some other things I've wanted to do over the years. So Cade and I met. He introduced me to the world of blockchain and crypto. At the same time, there's other fiat funds that want to make new movies. We use the studios. They're our friends. I'm still working with the studios. I love Web3, but we don't need to reinvent Hollywood. We need to incorporate Hollywood. They need content. So we want to make high-quality films, economical budgets. The studio overhead's usually about, all the overhead of a larger film is at least 20% of the film cost itself. Investors and artists want to see their profit. And I love the studios, but their accounting is famously suspect and hard to pierce. Imagine if you're acting in a film of mine and your profit points are on the blockchain. It will change everything overnight.
Correct. And that's the key thing. The way it's designed is that even with our system that we're using with the blockchain, we're allowing people who wouldn't get a chance to be able to create film to give them a platform that they can get on and actually monetize it and allow people to invest into them through us, because we're taking away the gate. We're opening the gate up to allow people to come in. And through Chuck's success, proven success, he's going to be able to leverage that and allow this whole entire field of technology of the blockchain to be able to incorporate into the film industry. For example, like we can create NFTs for props on set, and these props can become digitals. So it's not just an NFT, it is actually an NFT tied with a product itself. And all these kind of things with entertainment behind the scene, where we have a tokenized system, allowing people who hold the cryptocurrency to be able to come with us, follow us as we go from pre-production to distribution of the film. And everything is transparent on the blockchain.
And they're a part of the process.
Correct.
I love it. I think it's very reassuring to this, to us, blockchain adopters in general, because you guys have already established successful paths for funding in film in the industry, and then to be able to take that and go over to a new technology that's somewhat, viewed askewed, to say it.
The time is more than now. Hollywood just had one of their worst years. There were a number of articles about the losses and people getting laid off at every studio. In my opinion, it's got a lot to do with the fact that the budgets are bloated, the bureaucracies are bloated, one studio owns another. It's harder to have your executives stay in place while you develop a film. And studio film development is an average of 8 years at least on feature films. It's a golden era in streaming, I have to admit. That is wild, it's an amazing thing. But I'm all about making sure independent filmmakers get out there, and then I can get out there with new stars in my own film. I can make a picture as big as any of the ones you've seen that I've done before, more economically, if we incorporate blockchain, if we incorporate new people, if we streamline the production and don't pay for stages overhead. Already film production is decentralized.
But I think that's exactly what you said at the point about the streaming, and what is like the best way to actually stream, and the new technology that we're advancing so far. And Ryan and I have talked about it, to be able to take this and put it onto the blockchain and stream it on the blockchain, and then have the encryption protecting. There is billions of dollars lost due to piracy. And this way we can encrypt everything on the blockchain, allow people to watch and truly have transparency of where the costs and what you're getting in return for having your project on our streaming platform.
And your finger on the pulse of the creation to see how many people are watching it, how many hours have people digested this, you know? So I think it's
that's the key thing. Like the biggest thing is community. Like blockchain is what? It's about the community of really strong people who believe what we're doing. And what is the most, I would say, the utility behind A Nation is film creation. And what is the thing that will empower, how should I say, our company to go forward is hype. And hype, and it's not fictitious hype, it's real hype. Because when you market a film and you take a film out and you bring it to the masses, you have to market. What is marketing? Hype. But there is BS hype, scam hype, and then there's real hype. And that's what we get to be able to utilize as a synergistic effect on each other.
It's all about energizing the film itself with creators and creative people, new actors, new directors, new writers. The audience loves it, and the studios are scared of it.
I would imagine.
Yeah. So it's a way to do films at least 20% more economically at all different levels.
Yep.
And it's a way to do what Web3 is trying to do and introduce new filmmakers and new formats as well. It's extremely exciting. Its time has come. And we're friends of Hollywood. We're supplying them content. We're not trying to recreate anything. I've made films at most major studios, with most major distributors over the years. And those are people that are excited about our potential and what content we might bring. We'll be challenged, but that's the fun of it.
Well, and you get to do what I hear you talk about, and that is put the money on the screen.
Put the money on the screen, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That's what we do.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, imagine a big budget film like Avatar 2, The Way of the Water, right? Imagine how many...
Can I tell you, I'm a huge fan of Jim Cameron.
Yeah.
Jim Cameron, Robert Rodriguez is a group of people that are original creators. Jim went off to New Zealand and created his own world of filmmaking, and it's a pretty amazing world.
Definitely.
And I love Avatar, whatever you guys think of it. He didn't ask anybody's permission. He built his films. He almost kind of battled the studio to make his bigger films. He's a genius and an innovator.
And definitely, and he earned all that budget, and I'm not taking anything away from that, but I'm just saying, like, imagine that amount of money being distributed to a bunch of independent filmmakers.
Well, that's true. We're not, it's not, there's a reasonable percentage, but if you actually just collect your net profits, there was I think it was almost 10 years ago, there was a Harry Potter sequel that grossed $1 billion, and a letter got leaked to investors that said they hadn't broke even. So it's, between the studio stages, prints and ads, the distribution all coming from one source, it's very difficult to challenge their accounting. And again, I love the studios. I have friends there. We hope to be distributed by studios or to develop projects that are done even within the studio system.
Or help them adopt blockchain technology.
But to actually have appropriate profits distributed to people that make their deals to get them without the cloud of vague accounting would be miraculous and energize the industry.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one of the things this industry can handle is the transparency.
Yes, the thing is, like, I do stunts, and I'm an action actor, and I get residuals, and I get a check, and it'll be randomly, a couple thousand here, a couple thousand there, and I'm just, I wouldn't be able to know where it came from. It literally be like, I'll look back and I'll be like, all right, this a film I did 2 years ago, but I wouldn't be able to track it and see where it came from at all whatsoever.
That sounds like a small anecdote, but the stunt performers, the actors, the musicians, for them all to benefit means we'll be getting the best people in the business. And by the way, he's the only human being his size that can actually do a flying axe kick without a wire. Okay.
And we would like to see that.
You saw it in the trailer. I made him do it 3 times on a slippery floor in a jacuzzi set.
Yeah, I kept getting lower and lower because I didn't want to fall.
Oh, he did it, man.
So the stage will be no problem.
Did it.
Come on, Cade.
Literally, I actually couldn't believe it. But anyway, we're done.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you, Chuck.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cade. And
Thank you,
support A Nation. Let's support creators and get the next level out there.
Much appreciated.
All right, give it up for our guys. All right, we got one more thing to do for you guys. Talk to us about what we're about to do here.
We have a grand finale. We are announcing a couple winners.
Wow. All I can say is wow. What else did you get from that? And I myself, next time I meet with Cade, I am going to bring a nice piece of wood and have him do that flying axe kick without a wire. Man, we got so many great things that are coming in store for A Nation. Make sure you stay tuned. I'm not advising you to invest in A Nation. I'm not advising you to sell A Nation, but I am a holder, and I myself will be buying more later today. So it's something to hold on to. It's not something that's going to give you a return immediately because we're still getting things established at the A Nation side. And I say we is because I am a mod over at the A Nation's Telegram. And I talk to Cade all the time. I have the personal hookup with Cade. It's great. They're great people. He's a great person to speak to. He's just down to earth. He's a really nice guy. And I enjoy every one of my conversations, which sometimes last about 2 hours. But that's how good our conversations go. That said, I will chop this video down for a little bit. And then I will, condense it down to just the A Nation portion. I wanted to get out there, get it recorded. I didn't want to miss a beat, and we did not. Got the audio going. I even fixed the little ticker. I noticed that the URL, the URL for their Twitter was incorrect. We had just changed it a couple of months ago, and it was an older ticker, but it is what it is. But thank you to everybody that came out. Make sure you hit that like, share out the video still. And then, we'll just continue to grow. If you haven't already, definitely get down over to the A Nation Telegram. It's inside the ticker symbol, and as well as their Twitter. It's now correct. If you're this far along and you're hearing me talk about it, it is correct. I fix it live on the spot. I'm a tech. That's how it goes. Madman Crypto, we're trying to build, what we got going on here. Aside from me with just waking up with a little bit of a horse in the mouth this morning, so to speak, a little laryngitis. And, please do come check us out. We got mods inside the group that are there all the time. We have people in the United States as well as in Europe. So you're bound to find somebody in the Telegram, no matter where you are. There's a mod that can answer your question for you. Thanks for coming down, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And we'll see you guys here next time on Madman Crypto. A Nation in the house. Kate, drop kick. Do it.